Welcome to Get Into It with Tami Roman. Soulmates, I am so glad that you are here with me tonight. And I've got another great show on the way. Tonight, my dear friend Tracie Thoms is joining us to discuss Am I Black Enough? And Black representation in Hollywood in 2021. And there's so much more. As always, I have some advice to give during my Ask Tammy segment. That's coming up later in the show, though. So make sure you keep sending in those 1 to 2 minute videos. Let me say that again. Make sure you send in those 1 to 2 minute videos because y'all sending letters. Y'all sending pigeons, y'all sending DMs, y'all sending everything except a video, okay? So 1 to 2 minute videos to Ask Tammy at foxsoul.tv because I'm trying to help y'all people out. And don't forget, my Power Minute is on the way, but you know we have to start this thing off the right way. So here's my unpopular opinion. First up, Tristan Thompson is accused of cheating again. Now, Khloe Kardashian took Tristan back the first time and the second time he cheated. And here we are again with another allegation of cheating. Now, Instagram model Sydney Chase says her and Tristan hooked up in January, okay, 2021. Now, Sydney talked about Tristan's uncut private parts on the No Jumper podcast, saying it was a peekaboo ding ding, okay? But baby, peeking and all the booing it was doing, it was good. She said, he told me he was not in a relationship anymore, so I said, okay. And she went on to say they talked and hung out multiple times and went out together and everything. But when she found out that he was not single, she cut him off. Now, this is what I got to say about this. I don't know why people can't get it together when they are in a relationship. And I feel like a broken record, but particularly with these Kardashians, I don't know what it is. Why you can't be faithful to Khloe. I mean, she's smart. She's, beautiful. She's paid. She's given you a beautiful daughter. So if you just did right, you'd be a man with a beautiful, successful family. But you don't know how to act. Khloe, now we'll say this. You cannot keep a man that doesn't want to be kept. Okay? And if he's shown you multiple times that he is not going to be faithful and he's not going to be committed and he's not going to be honest in the relationship that you're trying to forge with him, then you've got to get on down the highway because Lamar is single. Ain't Lamar available now? And he said he definitely messed up and wish he had done right by you. So maybe get back with Odom. But if Tristan is not going to be right, then you've got to let it go. Next up, Bravo has confirmed the rumors that we heard in February that there would be a special limited series featuring up to 10 ladies from multiple housewives cities. We heard the entire cast would go to some exotic location, as they often do, and stay together under the same roof. That's the bubble because it's COVID. Well, the cast has been revealed. The show will star Teresa Giudice, Melissa Gordon, I think it's Georgia, I don't know. Y'all know I don't never know how to pronounce nobody's name, of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Now, from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they've got Kyle Richards. You know, Miss $100 million is going to be on the exotic location bubble house. And the Real Housewives of New York's Ramona Singer and Luann, y'all know I don't know how to pronounce her name, Luann Delepsepsis. Anyway, Luann gonna be there too. And Kenya Moore and Cynthia Bailey of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm wondering why they don't have no Potomacs on there. But they decided these were the 10 ladies that they were going to use. And I tell you one thing, that is a lot of personalities in one location. But it's an excellent idea because it reminds me of my real world days, because that's how it started. We was all in one house. They put cameras everywhere and they caught everything that you did for the day. And I think being able to bring the top names from these different franchises and having them interact is going to be nothing short of explosive. I actually had suggested that for the Basketball Wives at one time, but they just didn't jump on it. And now Bravo has beat them to the punch again. Congratulations, Bravo. I know that Kenya gonna set it off though. So it's gonna be good. I'm gonna watch it. Y'all make sure y'all tune into the All Stars version that's happening on Bravo. The next topic is in a resurfaced interview, Steve Harvey makes it known to the host that his friendships are geared towards one gender and one gender only, men. Steve says, all of my friends are men. I don't have female friends. I simply don't. I'm incapable of that. I don't really have female friends, so let's get rid of this myth right here. He went on to give an example to the host. You're an attractive woman. There are guys somewhere saying we're friends. But no, that's not true. He's your friend only because you made it absolutely clear that nothing else is happening except the friendship that you have. Steve also went on to say, we remain your friends in hopes that one day there'll be a crack in the door, a chink in the armor, and trust and believe that guy that you think is your buddy, he will slide in that crack the moment he gets the opportunity, because that's what men do. 99% of us think that way. I'm with Steve, okay? I believe that men and women should be able to be friends. But the more you get to know a person and have real conversations with them, they know a little bit of your business, you know a little bit of their business, you're going to develop such a rapport with them. And with women being emotional beings most of the time, we start catching feelings. And I'm glad that Steve has come out and said that men do the same damn thing. The minute you decide that you don't want to be over there no more, and he might could halfway slide in, that's what he's going to do. I wholeheartedly agree with Steve on this. You got to choose your friendships wisely. And I think that when you talk about men and women being friends, yes, they should be able to. I just believe what Steve is saying, that they're not capable of honoring that type of relationship and dynamic for the long haul. I know y'all gonna drop down in the comments, which is exactly what I want you to do, to tell me your point of view on how you feel I'm wrong and that men and women can be friends. Perfect, do that. Next topic. Former Love and Hip Hop reality star Kimbella has gotten a full mommy makeover. Now, she traveled to Colombia. Y'all gonna stop traveling out the country. Y'all gonna stop this. But Kimbella went and made it back safely for her transformation and allowed fans to see her step-by-step journey. Translation, I got all my free as long as I filmed it and showed y'all. Now, the procedure taking place in a surgery room over there, and they chronicled the journey from beginning to end. Her enhancements included her face, fillers in her lips, a little Botox. Liposuction was done around her abdomen, where the doctor even created fake abs. But she wrote on Instagram to acknowledge the doctor, I seen them abs you are creating, so I came on down to get them. Now, if you remember, Kimbella had plastic surgery back in 2019. She has since had 3 kids, and after those babies, she wanted a little touch up here and there. She said, I worry sometimes that we get addicted to the quick fix when there are things we can do to get similar results. Ironically, she says that, but then she flies to Colombia to get what? The quick fix. If you want to go and do it, go and do it. Everybody knows that I gets the Botox. Okay? I ain't ashamed. I get Botox. Everybody knows that I got smart lipo on Basketball Wives. I ain't ashamed. I got the smart lipo. Everybody knows that I got my done. I ain't ashamed. I got my done because I wanted a little more junk back there in the trunk. Okay. And so I went to go get me some. So, Kimbella, if that's what you wanted to do, baby, do what makes you happy. And I'm just glad that you went there and you made it back safely, because that is what is most important to me. I'm done. I just can't give y'all no more unpopular opinion. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. But Joseline and Wendy Williams went at it this week because Joseline came on the show and she was like, yo, I need for you, Wendy, to give me my flowers. I have achieved a great deal of things out here in these streets. I'm making a nice chunk of change. And I feel like you, Wendy Williams, do not acknowledge that and pay and honor that. When you're talking about people that are successful, I should be included. And she wanted Wendy to give her flowers. Wendy Williams picked up the flowers up off the table beside her and threw them at the screen and said, here is your damn flowers, because guess what, Joseline? I too don't always get the acknowledgement that I deserve. And I'm not paid dollar for dollar what men are getting out here. And so they went back and forth. Okay, they did. They went back and forth. My unpopular opinion on the two of them is they were both right. There are times, per Joseline's side, that Wendy will have people on her show and she will just go at them. Now, I wasn't one of them, but she will go at them. I remember the Drea interview and some other people that have been on the show that it just felt like, well, why do you have me here if the only thing you want to do is argue or try to belittle me or make it seem like I'm irrelevant or unimportant? So Joseline was right. And Wendy, you are right. Women aren't making what men are making dollar for dollar, but you cannot take that out on your guest. And when I come up on your show, Wendy Williams, you're going to show me the love that you have always shown me, because I am a friend of the show. And that's all I'm going to say. That's my unpopular opinion. We're going to get off into today's topic about Black representation in Hollywood. Are you Black enough? Tracie Thoms is in the building, and she is going to be hanging out with us to talk about that and clear some things up. I can't wait to hear her thoughts. Stay tuned, because this is Get Into It with Tami Roman, and we're on Fox Soul. Welcome back to Get Into It with Tami Roman. Listen, if you guys want to see more Fox Soul content, make sure that you subscribe to their YouTube channel and make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can get all the updates on the latest videos, news, and live shows. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and tell us how you feel, and then drop down in the comments section and get some things up off your chest. My guest today is a series regular opposite Octavia Spencer on Apple's Truth Be Told. She's best known for her roles in Love on Netflix, Unreal on Lifetime, Cold Case, one of my favorites, whoop whoop, for CBS, Rent the Musical, and The Devil Wears Prada. She's also recurring on 911 for Fox, and she's just overall incredible. Please welcome Tracie Thoms to the show. Hi, sis.
Hi, Sam.
How are you today? I'm so excited to have you here. It really means a lot to me. I'm surprised you're not having a party.
I'm surprised too, but COVID is just ending. We can't jump the gun too much. Gotta wait for everybody to get vaccinated.
Yes.
Before we can have any more parties. But you're gonna be here for the next one, right?
I'm definitely coming to the next one. But I heard your fireplace caught on fire.
It sure did. Who knew that could happen? My fireplace. I don't even know. So what happened was I have an outdoor fireplace and it was Oscar night and I was in my living room, you know, with some friends who would come over to watch the Oscars. And then my brother comes into the living room. And he's like, yeah, so the fireplace is on fire. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So then I went out. He said, we put most of the flames out, but like behind the fireplace, so it's like a fire behind the fireplace. Mm-hmm. And then on top of the fireplace is a little overhang where it connects. So I'm like, okay, so some leaves got in there or something, you know, something I put it out. So I'm on my roof dumping we're daisy chaining like buckets of water.
I saw that on Instagram. I said, only Tracie.
Only me. Saying I'm up there in a onesie, because a onesie is pretty much what I wear all the time. And I'm literally on my roof putting out the fire with my brother and like two of my roommates. A friend of mine is staying here who's actually on our show, on Truth Be Told. He's here. So he's handing over buckets of water, and then finally it was still smoking. There are no more flames, but I was like, if it's still smoking, something's still burning. So I called the fire department, and they came.
I saw them pictures on Instagram with you with the fire department.
Only me. Yep. Only me. And then one of my roommates, you know, he started playing We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel as a soundtrack.
For that moment.
For that moment, like, we didn't start the fire, but it's all burning, and you know.
Oh my God.
Through my fireplace and let the smoke out. It was insane. But you know, hey, listen, life is nothing if you don't make it fun, right?
It's a moment in Tracie's world, I tell you. But you said you were watching the Oscars, which is great because today's topic is about Black representation in Hollywood. Yes. Now, I know you remember last year, Zoe Saldana, who's, you know, a Dominican, apologized for playing Nina Simone because her skin wasn't dark enough to play the role. And, you know, they tried to like give her makeup to make her darker. And Black people were furious when they saw her.
They were mad.
They were heated. Okay. Yeah. But Zoe was quoted as saying, I thought back then that I had the permission to play her because I was a Black woman, and I am. But because it was Nina Simone and I was lighter skinned, and Nina had a life and you know, her own journey, you know, that people were just upset that they could have cast a darker skinned woman to play Nina Simone. But should we have been mad?
I think in that situation, when we're playing like real people who lived, you know, because so much of Nina's identity was based on the fact that she was a dark-skinned Black woman with African features. And we have plenty of dark-skinned Black women with African features who are actresses who could have played the role. You know, Zoe looks nothing like her. And Zoe's relationship with her racial identity has kind of wavered in the past, I think. So people were upset with her because for a while, I think people didn't feel like she was really claiming to be a Black woman.
To be a Black woman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Over time that has changed, people evolve, and I'm like, welcome to the party, you know, whatever. I'm mad at that, you know, because Afro-Latinas often have a different relationship to their Black identity because, you know, they're like, I'm Latina, you know, and that's true as well. So I think because of all those things together, people were upset because you have all these beautiful dark-skinned Black women who could have played that role. I mean, I think it does get tricky when we're playing, you know, roles that are iconic, people who are iconic, you know. But on the other hand, Chadwick Boseman played Thurgood Marshall, and Thurgood Marshall was light-skinned, and was not light-skinned. So some people had issues with that, but Thurgood Marshall wasn't like really alive in our lifetime and wasn't like iconic for his appearance the way that Nina Simone was. So
Do you think who comes to mind when you think about like, well, so-and-so could have played that? I mean, if they really had just reached out, they might have
I mean, at the time, I think, because it was years ago, Pero was really from Pariah, that movie Pariah. She's on
yes.
Yeah, the Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier right now, playing Falcon's sister. She like looks a whole lot like Nina Simone. And she was really in the public eye then because Pariah had come out, and so she was kind of hot at that moment.
Right. Perfect
casting for Nina Simone.
Yeah.
If you're doing older Nina Simone, then you have Viola Davis is right there. You know, I mean,
yes, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. She's right there. Exactly. But what I want to ask you is, things really haven't changed. I mean, yes, we're talking about Zoe from years ago, but there's still those moments where, like even as of like last year or maybe 18 months ago, Vanessa Bell Calloway, who was in the original Coming to America, she shared a story that she couldn't be in a certain role because they said she was too dark.
Right.
So, I mean,
yeah, right.
Still going on.
Right. We're talking about like early 90s at this point, and people were not as evolved as they are now. And yeah, colorism is still an issue, but it was really, really, really an issue then. Like dark-skinned women weren't seen as beautiful then, which was a tragedy because we know black skin is beautiful, and the more melanin, the better, and all melanin is beautiful, So, so they were not really being seen as, as beautiful, the beautiful women that they were. And colorism is really terrible, because it all comes from like white supremacy, right? We know the trickle down, the lighter the better, blah, 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 all that crap that they make us believe that's not true. So yeah, so in the early 90s, for sure. I mean, I think right now we're seeing a surge in representation of dark-skinned women. Dark-skinned men have always kind of been in, though.
I was going to say, it's never really been an issue for the men. The women have always had the issue. But do you feel that there are really significant changes? Because I honestly feel that with the Black Lives Matter and, organizations and companies coming out saying, we're going to do better and we're going to support Black business and we're going to incorporate more. What I noticed is people of color, which is not necessarily saying Black, African American, because the Indians, Asians, Latino, all of that is people of color, right? So when I think to me, it felt like they were pacifying us and trying to say they were going to do better, but not really doing better, and then still skewing it back to what they've always done anyway.
Well, yeah. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, because they don't really understand the problem, right? So they're just putting a Band-Aid on it. They're not actually going back and looking at the history of white supremacy in this country and how we got here. So they're like, okay, the people of color are mad, we'll hire two of them.
Right. But I still feel like people of color is not speaking specifically
to Black people, right?
Americans, to Black people. I mean, it's just, I feel like it's just a fancy way to still have something other than a Black person in these key positions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like for the longest time, I would go in for roles and it was like the other role. So I would go in for a role and I'd go in the waiting room and it'd be like a couple Black girls, couple Asian girls, couple like Indian girls. And it was like, so all of us are all competing for the same role. So like, we'll get in trouble if, I mean, we'll get in trouble if we have all white people. So we'll have somebody who's not white as the best friend or the secretary or the boss or something other than the lead.
Because we definitely aren't getting the lead, and we're still not getting the lead. You know what I mean? I think there have been minor changes. I mean, like truth be told, with Octavia being an African American female and the lead of that show, but there's still not enough.
Right. No, not enough at all. I mean, like I look at my career, I've been doing this for 20 years now, right? And I can count on like maybe one hand the amount of times I've actually auditioned for the lead in anything.
And see, that's ridiculous.
Right. Much less actually play the lead. This is just getting the opportunity to audition for the lead. I'm always like, like I said, the friend or the coworker or, the boss or somebody, not the lead, but not following me home after work and seeing my life.
Right, exactly. But let me ask you this. Do you think it's harder for Black actors and actresses to get a role if there are no Black people actually involved in the production?
Oh, for sure. Because, when you read a script, it's like, it's like a woman. It's like Jill, 30s, messed up hair, trying to put her lipstick on or whatever. You assume she's white. Unless it specifically says she's Black.
Right.
Because the default human being is white in the world, and particularly in America. So you don't even think about that person not being white. It doesn't even occur to them. if they're white. They see white people. Like white people only see white people.
White people, yeah.
It's like
True.
she could not be white. They're like, oh, it never occurred to me that this leading character who is multi-dimensional and layered and maybe a little bit messy and maybe a little bit complicated could be someone who isn't white.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think about this being that complex.
Do you have your agent send you out for stuff that doesn't specifically say Black? Do you make a point to say, hey, send me for that anyway?
Yeah, they do. They do. But I can go in the room and they'd be like, oh, wow, that was really great. Thank you. And I'll still usually hire a white woman. That's how they envision it. Because once you hire a Black person, then her parents have to be Black, her sisters and brothers have to be Black. The whole world becomes Black, and they don't want to do that. Then it becomes a Black show.
How do we really make progress if nobody's willing to really address the problem, and because they're not willing to address it, there are fewer opportunities for us to even get ahead. So how do we as a people collectively, maybe it's something that we as, African-American females, we start our own coalition or group to kind of make change. But what would be your thoughts on how we actually can try to move this thing forward?
Well, you have to have more control. Like, you look at someone like Issa Rae, for example. She just had a really great idea maybe 10 years ago and was like, I'm going to put this on YouTube and I'm going to be relentless. But she understood, she's that generation, like right behind me, right behind my generation, who really came up with an in-depth understanding of the internet and social media and how it works. And how it works for us. For us, we were just, we came up old school, we went to school, we learned how to act. We came out, we got an agent, we auditioned, and hoped for the best. You know what I mean? Like, making your own content was not an option for us because we didn't have phones with cameras in them. We didn't have access to upload it to a thing, So that whole mindset is different for like the millennial generation. So they're like, no, I can put my own thing up here, and it's, I don't have to make it perfect. I'll just make it. I'll just get it out there, and that generation really, really understands that. And now she has, deals everywhere. Because a really, really great idea and believes in it. So we just have to really get with our crew of people and create interesting content that we want to see, make what you want to see and then get it out there and promote it and have a deep understanding of how the mechanism works.
How it works. And that's what I tell people all the time.
You do that really, really well.
I'm like, get out there and learn. And even with, Bonnet Chronicles, it's like, I had no idea that was going to be a thing that the younger generation would relate to. Figuring out ways to keep our content out there is very important. When we come back, we're speaking more with my very special guest, Tracie Thoms. So I'd like for you guys to come on back now. Let's get into it with Tami Roman on Fox Soul. Welcome back to Get Into It. We're chatting with the beautiful actress, Tracie Thoms. And listen, I know this lady because we do a show called Truth Be Told together for Apple TV. And I play her father's new wife. So I'm her mama-in-law.
Well, you're my stepmom, actually.
Yeah, stepmom. Actually. Yeah. Stepmom. But how did you get into acting? I mean, because you've done so much. How did it start? Did you wake up one day and said, I want to be an actress, or were you trying to do something else, or how did this?
Well, it's really my story is really strange because I was 9 when I decided I wanted to take acting class. I grew up with both my parents went to college, so I grew up, in the 80s, knowing that if I ever wanted to do something, I had to learn how to do it. Very much, scholars in my life and my parents. So I was like, okay. I had to take acting class. So I was taking dance class and I was really bad at it. It was terrible. I was terrible. I had no flexibility. How little kids are like bendy and they got a kid do thing. I was not that kid. I couldn't do any. I was an inflexible child. I couldn't do it. I could learn the steps, but I didn't look good doing it. And I knew that. I had self-awareness. that this was not my ministry, right? So I was like, what's it going to be though? Because back in the day, there was Star Search, but there was also Junior Star Search.
Yes, I remember.
At the time, I was an only child. My brother was born when I was 13. So I was an only child. I was always bored, and I would watch Junior Star Search. And for some reason, I wanted to be on it, you know. And my father worked in public television, so I was kind of around the arts my whole life. And there was an acting competition on Star Search. You had to do the scene, like two kids do the same scene.
I remember that.
With a celebrity came in and did the scene. I was like, oh, that's just like playing make pretend. Oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that though. I can do that. So I went to my parents' room and I was like, Mom, Dad, I want to take acting class. And they're like, okay. And before I knew it, I was in acting classes and I just kept doing it. And every time I tried to be normal, I realized I wasn't normal. Like for high school, I was in acting class on the weekends. You know, we did it like Tuesday nights and Saturday was like, you know, we put little plays together in my community theater that I grew up in, the Arena Players in Baltimore, Maryland, which is like the oldest running community theater in the country. It's a black.
I believe Jada went there too.
Yeah, and then all my friends from there went to the Baltimore School for the Arts, which Jada went to. And I was like, no, I'm going to be normal. I'm going to go to this regular high school. So I went to a regular high school and hated it. The first day of school, I was like, nope, I'm in the wrong place. I just wasn't built for high school, regular high school pop, like Mean Girls and all that stuff that happens in high school. I was like, no, I'm in the wrong place. So then for 10th grade, I went to the Baltimore School for the Arts. Like Jada would come back and talk to us. So she was like our celebrity, you know, person. Like, and Tupac would come back too. So Tupac would come back, Jada would come back, and we're like, oh, okay, we can do this. And then it came time to go to college, and I was like, I have to be normal now, though. So I went to Howard University for communication, radio, TV, film. And for 3 semesters, I was in radio, TV, film, and hated it. And my father's like, what are you doing? You don't like that. You want to be an actor, go and get your degree in acting. And I was like, fine, Dad, don't yell at me. He shamed me, called me out.
But he needed to just give it to you straight.
He did. He called me out for making decisions out of fear. He was like, you're just afraid you're going to fail, but you don't like it. You know, you should do what you love. You love acting. You're good at it. You should do that. So again, I switched and got my BFA in acting at Howard. And then I studied Shakespeare one summer at Oxford. In Oxford, England, the British American Drama Academy. I went there, and the year after me, Chadwick Boseman went there because we were at Howard together. And then, you know, the head of that program told me to audition for Juilliard, and I did. And then I got into Juilliard. So I went to another program for acting. And I think that's when I was like, okay, I'm just going to be an actor. I'm just going to be an actor and hope for the best, you know. But I was still terrified because I didn't see anybody like me in the business.
What was your first job?
My first job out of school, I did an Excedrin commercial. I was a teacher. And then I did like a regional play. I did like the Oedipus cycle in DC. I did my Greek theater, you know, then I did Raisin in the Sun in Baltimore. And then I booked my first series, which was called As If on UPN. And then lucky for me, I just have not really stopped working since then for 20 years.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, every time I'm watching TV sometimes and I'm like, I'll be in a whole nother room and then I'm like, hear the voice and I'm like, is that Tracie? And I gotta go look at her. Get down, Tracie's on Law and Order. Tracie's on this.
I know, I ambush you all the time. You know, I'm kind of like, I just always kind of say yes, you know, because I really, if I can do it, I'll do it because there's always an opportunity to learn and grow. And even if it's terrible, you learn from that. You learn from failures as well. And I really believe that. I believe that work begets work. So I, you know, particularly in the beginning of my career, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's see what happens.
How did Rent come about?
Rent?
How did Rent come about?
Well, Rent happened because when I was at Howard, and my boyfriend at the time was a business major, and all these companies were wooing him, and they got him tickets to see Rent because you could not get tickets to see Rent in 96, 97. You couldn't get the ticket. It was like, so he's like, I got tickets to see Rent. I'm like, well, cool. So I took the train up. We saw Rent and I sobbed. I was in the audience just like, and I'm not like a crier. I'm not like that person. I was like, so when I cry, people are like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like,
Right.
I'm leaking from my face, you know? And then I was like, I have to be in the show. So I started auditioning for Rent that year in 97 and never got it. So I auditioned in 97, 98, 99, 2000. I mean, I just kept auditioning for it. I was very, I was like, I got a final call back when I started Juilliard. And if I had gotten into Rent before I started Juilliard, I would not have gone to Juilliard. I was that like, I have to be in Rent. And I kept auditioning. So for the next like 7 or 8 years, I kept auditioning and they kept saying no. And then the movie came around and I was like, okay, this is going to be my last Rent audition. I have to stop at this point. Clearly they don't want me.
Right.
I feel very strongly that I'm supposed to be in this show and they do not.
Right.
I can take the hint, you know, no means no. So I auditioned for it. And then a month later, I got the movie. So I skipped the show. I did the movie first. Yeah. And then after I got the movie, I found out that it was going to be with all the original cast who I'd seen on Broadway, who all changed my life. So that was crazy. And then I ended up doing the movie and that was incredible. And then when they closed on Broadway, they asked me to come and play Joanne in the final casting. Because get this, Merle Dandridge was doing it, who's on our show. Merle was doing it. And then Merle got another job. They extended one more time and Merle couldn't finish it. So I came in to replace Merle for the last 5 weeks of the show on Broadway.
Okay. But the story that you just told really speaks to an actor's life. Yes. And you're going to hear no more times than you hear yes.
Oh,
and
way more times.
People do not understand that. Like, you know, it's like, you know, they think that because they see you on TV like that, it just happens so instantly and they don't know it. Like 50 auditions or 50 no's before you got that one yes, you know, so. But you just believe
spaghetti at a wall, and that one noodle will stick. That's the one yes. All the noodles will fall. One will stick. Exactly. And that's your yes.
Now you were also in The Devil Wears Prada, right? And how does that feel? And then of course we know all the TV shows. How are each of them different for you?
Well, they're all different. I mean, the experiences are all going to be different because the group of people I meet on every set is different. So the environment is different and the process is different. But, you know, acting is so interesting because you always come from yourself, right? You always start with you. So like your humanity is in every character. Like they're all like my little babies. But I approach everything as like a new person and the relationships are different to the people. So yeah, I've played lots of best friends, right? For a long time, I was like, some white girl's best friend in every show. So, but my relationship to Anne Hathaway and that was very specific, you know, and often, you know, the role of the Black woman in a lot of things. And my role is pretty much like this, even in Truth Be Told, is that I'm always the voice of reason.
This is true.
I always have that like, well, girl, you know, you need to do this.
Yeah.
There's always that scene. Well, what you need to do is this.
Yeah. True.
I don't know why people cast me that way, but I guess it's something about my energy. You know what I mean?
With your energy, like you feel so comfortable to talk to. So quite naturally, a person would tell you their business, wanting you to give them advice, and so that's probably why. You know, and people ask me often, like, if I wasn't an actress, what would I be? And I'm like, I'd probably be a psychiatrist if I wasn't an actress, which is very similar to me because. You know, we're interested in how people's minds work. Because every character has a thought process. So if you get into the thought process of a character, what they think about, then you can play the role. You know what I mean? It's like an entryway into the role. Like often I go into roles, think about like, what is this character afraid of? Like, what are their fears? Because if you get into fear, then you can, you know, it's like a shortcut getting into everything that's important to that person. But yeah, you know, I've loved everything. Every person I've played, I love them and they're a part of me. You know, people always, you know, what's your favorite? I'm like, I don't really have one. Really don't have a favorite. No, I mean, I have experiences that were favorites. Like Rent, of course, is a dream come true for me, you know, so that's going to be the top of that thing. But then I work with Quentin Tarantino and Death Proof, and that was like, almost that was Tarantino. Yeah,
And I'm driving
exactly.
a car and I'm doing stunts and stuff like that. So that's amazing. Cold Case was like my family for 4.5 years. So of
Yep.
course I love Cold Case, so they're all very, very near and dear to me.
When we open back up, do you want to do more Broadway?
Of course. Mm-hmm. Of course. It's just Broadway's time consuming. That's the thing about doing theater, because you have the whole rehearsal process, then you have your tech, then you have your run for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and finding a time to do that away from like the TV projects.
That you got going on. Just go on and say you're busy, Tracie. Okay.
I'm busy.
Just go. I'm
booked and busy.
Yes, exactly.
I can't even say it seriously.
No, okay, do it again, because it need to be done right. Say I'm booked and busy the right way.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm work on it. Okay, here we go. I'm booked and busy.
Boom. There it is. You heard it first for the people in the back. Now, before you leave, we have this thing around here called Tammy's Fast Five. So I'm going to say 5 questions. You tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Woohoo.
You ready?
Hope I don't embarrass myself.
Here we go. If someone narrated your life, who would you want to be the narrator?
Alfred Woodard.
Oh, okay. What are you interested in that most people are not?
What am I interested in that most people are not? That's a good question. I gotta be fast.
Take your time, because I want it to be good. I want to know, really.
I draw sacred geometry.
What the F is that?
When you see like mandalas, like those circles with like
circles.
I draw those freehand. It's very strange. Wow. I don't know how I can do it. I don't know why I can do it. People are like, how did you do that? I'm like, it's just,
Yeah, you're right. Nobody's interested in that.
Nobody's interested in that. But me.
Not one person. Not one person. So you got
one person. Got that right. Okay, great.
What's your childhood nickname and how did you get it?
Stinky.
Stinky?
Stinky. Stinky. Stinky.
Oh, Stinky. How did you get the nickname Stinky?
My father would call me Stinky, and it stuck.
Because you used to walk around Putin, was it?
Well, no, it's because I had a stinky diaper, because babies have stinky diapers, and he was like, okay, come over here, Stinky.
Stinky. Okay, and it just stuck.
He still calls me Stinky.
Oh, Daddy, let it go. What movie always makes you laugh no matter how many times you watch it?
Boomerang.
Okay. And what was the last song that you sang along to?
Love No Limit, Mary J. Blige in my car yesterday.
Hey, okay, all things safety. That was a good answer, because I love Mary J. Blige.
I love Mary J. Blige.
All right, thank you, Tracie, for swinging through today. I really appreciate you.
I'm so happy to be through.
Yeah, I just feel like when we get back on set for season 3, that there's some things I'm now gonna absolutely have to have. My invite to the parties.
Well, of course, that'll happen before season 3, though. As soon as we open back up, it's safe.
Okay.
We're gonna be here.
And then I'm gonna call you Stinky.
That's okay. Come here, Stinky.
I'm gonna call you Stinky now, because I done found out some tea, and I'm gonna try to read up on the mandolin stuff that you do. But I may not put a lot of thought into it, but I'm gonna try.
When you see one, next time you see one, they're everywhere. When you see like a circle with like, it looks like flowers and stuff, you'll go, Tracie Thoms. Tracie Thoms.
And then I'm trying to get you to draw me one freehand, because that's what you're interested in that no one else is.
No one else.
I love you, sis.
I love you too.
Thank you so much. You soulmates, you better stick around, because I have some advice for a woman who wants to get her life together after being a dedicated wife and mother of 2. Ask Tammy is up next. Welcome back to Get Into It. I'm your host, Tami Roman, and it's time for Ask Tammy. You all have been sending in some really good questions, keep it coming, because we need 1 to 2 minute videos of your issues, your family drama, your relationship drama. Just send us the video to email asktammy@foxsoul.tv. Keep them coming, but here's today's question.
Hi, Tammy. I have a question for you. So I've been married for about 20 years. When my husband proposed to me, I told him I wanted to marry him, but I just wasn't sure if the timing was right, because I had just come out of college. I was fresh out of college, and I wanted to do some things. Like I wanted to find a job in my career, in my field, and possibly go to grad school and just travel and have some life experiences. He convinced me that we could do all of those things together. So as soon as we got married, we moved because he was already working in his career field, and I was taking my exam for my certification exam. I didn't pass. So I took it a couple more times and I didn't pass. So we were living there for 2 years. We moved again, and again 2 years, and then we moved again, and they were all for his job. So while I was working on my certification, I was working in different places. They weren't career jobs, but they paid okay. So eventually we had children, and I started my modeling career, which is something else that I'd always wanted to do, and I did very well as a model. So we moved again, and once I had my kids, I decided that I wanted to homeschool them and to be a stay-at-home mom. So I did that for some years. So fast forward to now, my children are older. I've started a nonprofit organization, which is about 3 years old now. So I work with young youth who want to start a business or who already own their own business. It's doing well, but we're only 3 years in, but not well enough to really pay me. So in the area that I live in, real estate is really booming. And my husband and I have talked about maybe I should try to become a real estate agent. But I don't really know that I want to be a real estate agent. Like if I did that, I think I would just really be doing it for the money and not because I really want to do it. So I'm trying to decide, like, should I stay my course and continue to pour into my nonprofit organization, or should I go ahead and try this real estate thing out and not necessarily give the nonprofit up, but certainly I would not have as much focus, be as focused on it. So please tell me what you think. Thank you.
Girl. Woo, child, that shit was so long. I don't even know what the question was. Girl, if you don't start selling houses, okay, that's what I'm going to tell you. Your husband is right. I see that you did all at the top of the video about the kids, and you was doing all of this, and then he got his career together, and then now you trying to do the nonprofit, but you said the nonprofit's not paying. One thing your husband said that's right is that real estate never goes out of style, and you might not like, because you said you want to do things that you're passionate about, which I respect. But while we're working towards doing things that we're passionate about and that we love to do, reality is out there floating around. And if you want money to help fund the nonprofit because it's not paying, then you may have to enter into this field just to be able to subsidize that income to do what you really want to do. It's just no different than somebody who goes to corporate America and works a 9-to-5 job. Half of those people don't want to be there every day, but somebody's sitting up in there trying to start an online business or has other career aspirations, and they're using that job to help fund the thing that they really want to do. And that's how you have to look at it. And child, I listened to your video, but I feel like it was 4 minutes long. We said 1 to 2. Now, anybody else, when you go to send your video and you need some advice about your relationship, your family drama, or your personal issue, send me the video, but please don't make it longer than 2 minutes long, because my attention span can't handle it. And I just want to give you the advice and get on down the highway. Email these videos to Tammy at foxhole.tv. But up next, I have some encouragement for those of you who are feeling overwhelmed. My Power Minute is coming up next. It's Get Into It with Tami Roman, and this is Foxhole.
I don't know who needed to hear this besides me, because I just had to talk myself off the ledge. Okay, get into it. Listen, you're arguing with your friends, you're mad at your family, your mate is getting on your nerves, you know, bills are stacked up high, you don't know what's going on, you didn't get the job, you didn't get the raise, whatever the case may be. Sometimes it seems overwhelming, you know, and you feel like your letdowns is in the lead. Outcomes are disappointing, and life just gets a hold of you sometimes. But I want to tell you this morning, as I had to tell myself, sometimes the best you can do means just living to fight another day, staying in the fight, not giving up. Because what I do know is that them tables turn. Seems like they're going left, eventually they gotta go right. It's just the law of averages. But you can't win it if you ain't in it. So, you know, be encouraged. Don't let things get you down.
Hey, that's right. Do not give up. You cannot win it if you're not in it. Thanks for watching tonight, Soulmates, and big thanks to our special guest, Tracie Thoms, and her input on our topic today. I hope that you learned something tonight, and what you learned is that it's hard out here for a pimp. No, I'm just kidding. The industry is rough. Black people are making strides. There's still more work to do, but we are willing to stay in it in order to win it. See how I tied that together? I'll be back next week. This has been Get Into It. I'm Tami Roman. You're watching Fox Soul, and The Mix is coming up next.